Hey everybody, it's Chris from Guilty Words, where we unravel crime one word at a time. Welcome to part 8 of our 11-part series on Ruby Franke's diary, in which she details the child abuse and her justification for it. Today's episode is called the Cactus Lesson, and in it we see poor E, her behavior escalating out of sheer desperation as she tries to deal with the increasing abuse from her mother and from Jody. And the more she escalates, the more controlling and abusive Ruby becomes, because Ruby sees it as manipulation. And remember, like R stealing water, E manipulating is definitely a trigger for Ruby, or an excuse, depending how you look at it. Let's look at the diary together. July 29th and 30th, 2023. They were out of sequence in the court filings, but we put them in order here. E this week perpetually screamed outside. Jody and I accommodated her and took her to Hellhole Road. Yes, there is such a road on your way to Las Vegas. She was to run on the dirt road. She ran for a bit and then started manipulating. I told her to run up an incline on a hillside, touch a tree, and return, 100 yards max. She threw herself into a tree. Jody pulled her out, breaking her flip-flops. After an hour of E jumping into bushes, we get in the truck to find a cactus. E walked right up to the cactus and threw herself in the middle of it. It was unhuman. She acted like it didn't hurt at all. She cuddled right in. I watched her press her foot up against a cactus ear. I watched with my mouth open. She is so numb. After being cozy with the cactus, E got up and spoke with Jody for about 10 minutes. Jody and E walked to the truck and I rolled down the window. E said, "May I have permission to speak?" "Yes." "Can I have another chance at running the hill?" "Yes." We get into the truck and drive to the hill. E gets out and comes to my window. "Mother, what would you like me to do?" I instructed her to run to the dead tree and then come back. E replied, "I would rather jump into a cactus." There's that word manipulating. Ruby can't deal with anything she considers manipulation. And this whole scene of E reaching this frantic state of self-harm, of throwing herself in bushes and cacti, and just her anger at her mother, and this whole scene, I can just picture it by the car window of her saying, "Mother, what would you like me to do?" And then throwing the dig in that she knows is going to make her mother furious. And it works. Her mother is really angry. What evil, what deception. This girl would choose to be shot and die than to humble and do what she is told. There is no pain point where she will turn. The next day, July 30th, Sunday, we put E in the closet and contemplate what to do. She screams much of the day. She doesn't get water if she screams. She refuses to eat. July 31st, Monday. The children are separated now, and this is E's story for the moment. Jody wakes up from a dream. God lets her know we have done everything we can to get E's attention. Lord, don't continue these physical interventions. They will only bring resentment. E is angry about her feet. Dress her wounds and leave her to me. This intervention gives the opportunity for E to soften and see we aren't hurting her. Jody cleansed her heels. The hydrogen peroxide didn't sting. E is numb to it. The spirit was very strong as Jay and I witnessed Jody cleaning what didn't deserve to be cleaned. After dressing the wounds, Jody carried her back to the closet. E did scream and sulk and ask for water. I gave her lunch, leftovers of several meals she wouldn't eat, and she finally ate. I gave her water and then the scriptures. This is the first opportunity to have reading material since coming to Jody's. Me. When you see God, he will judge you out of these books. Did you honor your mother? No. Did you keep his commandments? No. Did you repent? No. You are in big trouble. You better get really familiar with what's in here. After dressing the wounds, Jody carried her back to the closet. So because she'd been running around in the desert in bare feet, her heels were damaged. And there's an odd echo of Jesus washing the feet of the disciples here. It's a little bit creepy. And then they're kind to her. They bring her out. They dress her wounds, the feet she'd been complaining about because they were probably infected and incredibly sore. But then they put her right back in the closet. She's not allowed to stay out, and naturally she starts screaming again. But they feed her. And the first reading material she's had since May, and this is July 31st. And a threat from her mother, get familiar with it. Then Ruby goes on to talk about R's feet. R's feet are swollen from standing. He is angry, nobody cares. I told him he is acting like a man having a heart attack and gets his feelings hurt because nobody cares about the sliver in his finger. When your soul is dying, nobody cares about your feet. Very different treatment than E's. Remember, they're separate at this point, so I don't think R knew what was happening with E. But Ruby put it in here because she was talking about their feet in general. So his feet are swollen from standing, probably standing all day on the patio or out in the sun because they're supposed to either stand or sit with their sin and contemplate it. And he gets absolutely no sympathy from his mother. Absolutely none. Police report from the detailed incident report. Child 1 informed me that he had not seen Child 2 or X as they were kept separately in the home. Child 1 knew they were in the home as he had heard them. Thank you once again for joining me on these videos. I really appreciate your time. And I hope if you're watching a few in a row that you're taking breaks between them because the content is very difficult. So guard yourself emotionally. I know I have when I've been doing them. Our next installment covers 4 short entries in Ruby's diary. But just because they're short doesn't mean they're easy. They're short and shocking. In addition to increasing her physical mistreatment of the children, she increases her psychological torment of them as well. She feels she needs to break their spirit completely. I hope you'll join me in the next video. And until I see you there, please use your words wisely and well. Take care.